Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Nail the Numbers. My name is Kerry Postal. I am the owner and founder of Abacus Business Solutions, helping business owners to know, understand, and trust their numbers. So, apologize, we are a little bit later going live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn today. I am at a mastermind event and we just finished for the day, so wanted to jump on and get this out to you. Okay, so last week we were talking about profit and loss reports. This week we are talking about the balance sheet. So those are two of the main reports you should be looking at every single week as a business owner. If you are not, then I highly encourage you to get to that position where you can look at those reports every single month, read them, understand them, and see how it's impacting your business, and then be able to make those informed financial decisions to grow your business. Okay, let's jump straight in. Okay, so your balance sheet. Really important report that you need to be looking at. It helps you to understand the health of your business. It helps you understand what's going on, how everything's performing, and hand in hand with that profit and loss report, it gives you your big picture. Okay, there's a lot of complex financial jargon when it comes to balance sheets. So I'm going to try and break it down for you so that it makes sense for you and you don't feel overwhelmed as a business owner. And next time you look at that report, you're going to feel confident as you read through it. So what is a balance sheet? So think of it as a snapshot in time. So it's a little bit like when you take a photo. You get that photo at that second that you hit the button, and that's it. After everybody's moved, and you don't get that shot again. It's the same thing when you are looking at your balance sheet. It's looking at it at a particular day, a particular time, and that is how the business looked right then. What might happen 5 minutes after that? You go deposit a check into the bank account. Another payment goes through, a check gets cleared. It's all fluid all the time. So that's why a snapshot in time on your balance sheet is right there and then. If you go in after and receive a customer payment, bam, your balance sheet is now different because now it's got another X number of dollars in the bank account than it did before. So snapshot in time, just at that date, that time. It shows you what your business owns. Those are what we're calling the assets. It shows you what you owe, which are your liabilities, and the value that's left over for you at the end, the equity. So let's talk about first, why is the balance sheet so important to you as a business owner? So the balance sheet gives you a clear picture of your financial health. It's like checking the fuel and the oil levels on your vehicles. It tells you if you're good to go or if you've got issues that you need to address. It also is helpful if you are looking to get a loan or you're needing some kind of line of credit for your business. Lenders are going to want to see your balance sheet. They're going to see, okay, how much do you have in assets? How much do you owe? How much debt do you already have? And what's the difference between those two numbers? And like I'm always talking about, it helps you to make those informed financial decisions. So it's helping you to understand, like, okay, are we in a position that, can we take on more debt? Can we, how is it going to change things if we do this? How is it going to affect the big picture? Okay, so let's dig into those components a little bit more. So your assets. So these are the things, like we said, your business owns. So now you may have a loan on them. So say, for example, you've got your truck, but you've got a liability for the loan. That truck is still owned by you as the business. And if you bought it for $100,000, then we're going to put that value as a fixed asset of $100,000 onto your balance sheet. So you've got different kinds of assets as well. So you've got your current assets and your non-current assets. So let's talk about current assets first. I jumped ahead a little bit with the vehicle, but the current assets are things like your bank accounts, your petty cash, anything that can be converted into cash or is cash within a year. So for example, your accounts receivable is a current asset because you would expect to collect on those invoices that you've submitted to your clients within 1 year. The same with inventory. That is also a current asset as well, because you would expect to be selling that part of that product in your inventory and converting it to cash. So current assets, anything that is cash can be converted into a year, accounts receivable, inventory. Then you've got your non-current assets. So those are things like any long-term investments, and then the fixed assets like the trucks, the vehicles, if you own a building, any property, any equipment, that is of significant value. Those are all your non-current assets and that we normally label under your fixed assets. And then under each of those fixed assets, we would then normally have a breakdown. So we might have your computer equipment, we might have office furniture, we might have vehicles, your trucks, we might have trailers, and have all of that broken down. And then every asset listed individually under those sub-accounts so that you can clearly see what your assets are that you own in a business. I don't like to see, a great big $350,000 under vehicles and not see what that breakdown is. I like to be able to see, okay, this is like 4 different vehicles that total up that 350,000. Okay, so there's your assets. Liabilities. So this is what you owe to others. So again, like the assets, you have your current liabilities and then long-term liabilities. So the current liabilities are very similar to the current assets. It's something that is owed within 1 year. So it's just whenever it's a current name, it's what that 1 year time period. So current liabilities, debts, loans, payments are due within 1 year. So for example, your accounts payable. So that's your vendors that you owe money to. You're going to be paying that within a year of that date that you enter in that vendor bill. Maybe you have a short-term loan that is less than a year. That would also go under your current liabilities. Your long-term liabilities are going to be like, if you have a mortgage on a building, if you have a 5-year truck loan, anything like that, anything that's longer than 1 year that is a loan, then that is going to be under your long-term liabilities. One other thing that will also go under your current liabilities is your credit card balance as well. So that's going to sit under your current liabilities also. Okay. With me so far? So we've talked about assets, we've talked about liabilities, and now we're talking about equity. So this is the owner's claim on the business after all the liabilities are paid off. So think about it like this. You decide to shut down your business. You're going to sell all of your assets. You're going to get that money. You're going to pay off all of your liabilities. And then what is left, the difference is yours, and that's your equity in your business. So if your liabilities total is higher than your assets, then we've got to figure out something, because that's not the way you want it to be. You always want your assets to be higher than your liabilities. And so that's something that you were always working through as well. Okay, so that's your balance sheet. Those are your 3 sections. So why is it called a balance sheet? Because basically we're looking at your assets equals your liabilities plus your equity. Okay, so that is how that's why it's called a balance sheet, because the top part of the balance sheet has to balance with the bottom half of the balance sheet. So the great thing with the balance sheet is you can be analyzing, what's going on, looking from month to month, seeing how things are moving, what's changing, and then also it helps you to look at your cash flow position as well. And that people look at the profit and loss report and like, well, yeah, but my loan payments aren't on there. Well, no, because they're here. And so when you're able to see, then, go in and look at how much your loan payments are, then that can help you determine, the cash flow side as well. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky, because people get confused when the loan payment isn't appearing on the balance sheet. Also, your draws aren't appearing on the P&L. They're on the balance sheet. So loan payments, owner's draws are 2 areas where people think, well, that should be my P&L. That's cash going out of the business. Yes. But remember, it's a profit and loss report. It's not a cash report. Your loan principal payments, that part of the payment that is principal, is going to go on the balance sheet and reduce the amount of the loan that was paid that month. If you take money out of the business, not on payroll, then it's a draw. It might be a member's draw, owner's draw, shareholder distribution. That is going to go on the balance sheet as well. Okay, that is all I want to talk about on the balance sheet right now. We could go a little bit deeper on it, but don't want to overwhelm you. It's a report that confuses a lot of business owners. I had a business owner about a year ago that I started working with. We were talking about the balance sheet, and I just kind of got this blank stare. And I'm like, guys, do you understand what this report is? And, it was as a couple, and they looked at each other and like, no, we don't. Our bookkeeper that they'd had for 4 years had never explained to them what the P&L was and what and how it related to the balance sheet and what the balance sheet was actually showing them. So we spent 45 minutes talking through the balance sheet. And at the end of that discussion, there was just this look on their face of like, okay, that makes sense now. Okay, right, now I know what I'm looking at. Now I know what this report is telling me. So don't be afraid to look at your balance sheet. Look at it through line by line, and look to see what it's telling you and see how it all makes sense and how the numbers are all coming together as well. It is a really important tool that you have in your business. It's an important report that you look at every month. And if that is something that you're struggling with, then reach out to us, okay? If you're not getting a balance sheet every month, if you're not getting your P&L every month, then reach out. This is something that we can help you with. This is what we do with our clients. We help you to know, understand, and trust your numbers and be able to see the big picture of what is going on in your business, what's working, what's not working, what do you need to be able to change your business and to be able to go forward, make more money, be more profitable, and to grow your business to the next level. Okay, so like I said, if you've got any questions, reach out to me. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify. If you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure you don't miss another podcast. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, make sure you have also subscribed to YouTube and you're following us on LinkedIn and Facebook again so that you are always getting our notifications. So I hope that helps. Like I said, got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and I will see you next time.